everyone, welcome to Webinar Wednesday. Today our topic is on Inspector. Inspector is actually one of the more popular tools in EdgeProp. Reason being you will be able to obtain various information from different government agencies all in one tool. Okay, so regardless of what property type you are doing or searching for, you can use Inspector. So it is not just for landed, because I understand that some agents think that Inspector is only for landed property. It's great for landed, but you can also use it for HDB. You can also use it for commercial, industrial, and even apartment condos. Okay, of course, most useful would be for landed, commercial, industrial, and HDB lah. For apartment condo, I personally feel that you can get more information from the other tools, okay, but still it is useful depending on what kind of information you would like to obtain. Okay, so let's get started. Quickly disclaimer here, and these are your account managers. For those of you who are new to EdgeProp training, do take note, these are your account managers. You should be looking for them in the event you need some form of help. Okay, so not just for signing up or renewing, but if you do need help in terms of which tool should you be using to get a particular piece of information, they would be able to assist you with that as well. Or if you come across any technical issues and all that, they would also be the best person to look for. Of course, sometimes they may be in the midst of a meeting, an appointment, or training. So if you do need immediate response, there is also another number that you can reach us on, which is the office hotline. On the screen right now, you can find it on the top left-hand corner. Okay, of course, this office hotline is only available during office hours, which is 9 to 5 p.m. Okay, thereafter, if you're talking about weekends and all that, it will still be your account managers. Okay. Now, before we get started on today's topic on Inspector proper, I also want to take some time to share with you guys some of the new products that we have launched during these few months during the circuit breaker period. One of it is EdgeProp Plus, which is basically virtual tours. Okay, virtual tours of what property? Of show flat properties. Okay, so if you are a new launch agent, or if you are serving clients who are looking at new launches, you would not want to miss this. By scanning the first QR code on the top, you will be able to access the library of virtual tours that we have at the moment. We have, I think, more than 20 at the moment, and it is in collaboration with the developers. Okay, so the developers have engaged EdgeProp to do the virtual tour for them, and you'll be able to access the virtual tours for free. Okay, what about the second QR code? These are actually guided show flat virtual tours. So the difference is that there is someone who would actually go through the virtual tour with you. They are either the developer's representative or their appointed ICs, okay, maybe from a particular agency. So we have, I think, about 9 or 10 of these guided show flat virtual tours. And what's good about these is that they don't just go through the show unit itself, but the project ICs or the developer's representative actually go through the entire show flat. Okay, so that means it includes things like the model, the site plan, the show unit, as well as the floor plans. Okay, and of course the selling points. Okay, or the selling proposition for each particular project. Okay, so if let's say you like to learn a tip or two from the project ICs themselves, do take some time to check out these guided show flat virtual tours as well. And I would think that even as we move on with phase 2 and phase 3, where all of you guys are able to do actual viewings, actual face-to-face, virtual tours are here to stay. It can definitely help you guys save time and effort also. And there may be buyers who maybe are too busy, they might not want to visit all the show flats. So this is a good opportunity for you to share with them certain show flats before actually going down to the final selected few. Okay, so do check out both of these QR codes. And we also have another product called EdgeProp Cast. Okay, so basically what EdgeProp Cast is it is different from EdgeProp Plus. Plus is for virtual tours, Cast is for videos. So if you are a agent who actually create your own videos, okay, it could be videos of your property listings or videos on education or interior design with relation to property, you are more than welcome to join us and register with us. So you just need to scan the QR code on the bottom, on the left hand side, okay, and give us your details. So as long as you have your videos hosted on Facebook, on YouTube, you will be able to host them on EdgePropcast as well. And this is entirely free at the moment. So do take the opportunity to be featured here, as well as to maybe get some leads or some form of branding. Okay, so think of this as the property Netflix, Netflix for property. Okay, so if you need a bit more information, you can reach us at the number on the bottom right, 94529197. My colleague will be able to assist you from there. Okay. Now let's move on to the actual live demo for today's training. So I will be going to the website edgeprop.sg, and today's topic we will be covering on inspector. So just a quick one, we are on the homepage right now, edgeprop.sg. If you like to check out EdgePropcast, it is found here. Okay, so you can see all the videos that we have, the different channels and the videos here by scanning cast, by clicking on cast here, or by going by the different categories. Okay, now for today's topic on inspector, so what you need to do is to mouse over inspector tools and search for inspector. Okay, for those of you who would like to access inspector via the app, it can be done also. Once you are logged in, it is under the second tab where all the tools are at, and you will be able to find inspector there as well. Okay. Okay, so we are now on the inspector page, or the tool called inspector. So as you can see on the screen right now, it is a map tool. So what happens is when you key in a address or a property project name, it will actually zoom down to a particular plot of land. Okay, so you can use it for all property types. Of course, depending on which property type, you may have to key in either the address or the project name. Okay, now before we do that, I'll just quickly touch on the different headers over here. So we have map, one map, landlord, which is the TS and MOKIM number. Okay, so you can see over here. We have the landed planning area. So things like this, so you can see how many stories they are. Let me see if I can find more. Yeah, okay, so you can also see whether they are for semi-D, for GCB, what kind of breakdown you'll be able to see under landed. And then we have the three master plans, 08, 14 and 19. Okay, 19 being the latest one, it was just released last year. So you would notice as I click between the across the different master plans, there would be slight changes that happen. Okay, because as every 5 years, the government would actually review the master plan and see if there's anything that they would like to update. Okay, and then last but not least, we have the building height. Okay, do take note that for building height, it is not to find out the building height for all the properties in Singapore. Okay, for this category indicated as building height, it is only for properties with a special height control. Special height control. So it is not determined by the, in a way, it's not so much determined by the plot ratio, but rather there is a specific reason why there is a building height limitation. Okay, so for instance, if you can see over here, this is the Orchard Road area, and then you can go further, Dobby God area. You would notice that this area, you would tend to have more of these building height restrictions. And one of the reasons why this particular area has this is because of the Istana, okay? Because Istana, they do not allow the properties nearby to overlook and see what is happening in the Istana. So that is the reason why. Of course, for other locations, there could be other reasons why there is a special building height control. Okay, so for both master plans and building height, right beside you will see this legend. Okay, so this circle with 3 lines, you can click on it. It will explain what all this is about. Okay, so for instance, if you see the number, it actually means the number of stories. Okay, and then some of it is related to the height control by meters. So different area would be slightly different. You can see more information here. Okay, now for the master plan, okay, which is 08, 14 and 19, when you go in, same thing, the legend can be found with the button with 3 lines on it. Okay, and you'll be able to see the zoning, okay, whether it's for residential, commercial, business, etc. And you can also see things like transportation facilities as well as plot ratio. Okay, so if you need more information, just check out the legend that you can find at the side. Okay, the legend button. Okay, also just to quickly highlight that this button here, which is indicated right beside with a marker, it basically means when you click on it, it will bring you to the location that you are currently at. Now, I'm not going to click on it because I don't want you guys to know where I'm staying at. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go back to one map. Okay, this is the default map that we are usually at. Okay, and you'll be able to key in any property, okay, any project name or address. So let me just start off with landed first. Okay, so if you are focusing on landed property, what you need to do is to key in the address including the house number. Why is it important to key in the house number? Because we are zooming in into that particular plot of land. Okay, for example, okay, so let's say I key in 19 Estate Hill. So it zooms in not just to the street but the house number as well. And the drop down usually would also be exactly what you key in. Okay, so I'm just going to click on this right now. Okay, so immediately you'll know. Okay, let me just zoom in a little bit. So what I did just now is to click on the plus sign on the on the bottom right, okay, which allows me to zoom in or zoom out. Okay, so I zoomed in and I'm able to shift the map accordingly, so you can see that hand icon. Okay, so I shifted it to the side for easy viewing. Okay, so first and foremost, if you look at the map itself where they highlight the perimeter, this is basically your land dimensions. So I would say this is more useful for landed property, especially if you are looking to do subdivision of land. Okay, because there are certain requirements that are needed before you can actually divide the land into two. Okay, so do take note for the subdivision, for the land dimensions indicated here. So you can see 35.2 meters, 53.8 meters. These are the perimeter length and breadth. Okay, do take note this information is taken from different sources. Sometimes we take it from SLA, sometimes we take it from URA and all that. So there may be a plus minus of 1 meter discrepancy. Okay, could be because a long time ago they may have taken the measurements at different time, and that have resulted in slight differences here and there. Okay, so do use this more as a guide, but if you do eventually intend to do any subdivision of land, please still double check with the lawyer, okay? Because the lawyer will have the final number based on whatever the lawyer uses. That will be the final number that you will be referring to, okay? But this is a pretty good guide to have. And over here you can see, so I can shift this. So immediately when I key in the address, I would also know that this is a 2-story detached with basement and swimming pool, okay? So I have things like the master plan zoning, the tenure. Why we indicate according to latest transaction is because we have come across properties where the tenure changed at a certain point in time, okay? However, if there were no transactions after the tenure was changed, we may not have the most updated tenure, okay? So do take note that the tenure is as per the latest transaction that was caveated for this particular plot of land, okay? So we also have the land area from GFA all the way to completed, okay? GFA, architect, contractor, completed. This information is from BCA, okay? So do take note that not all properties will have this section because last time it wasn't compulsory to submit this information to BCA, okay? It was only in the recent 10-20 years, okay? I think the last record that I've seen was somewhere around 2004 thereabouts, okay? So if it was more than that, we may not have the information as well, okay? And then we have this section called research, okay? So basically research is the home report. You can actually access research through tools, research at the bottom also, okay? So if you mouse over tools, it is on the bottom left, okay? So you can see research over there. So this is actually a shortcut to the research, which is our home report, okay? And then we have the latest sales up to the latest 5 will be indicated here. And you can also see the planning decisions, okay? So what is planning decisions? These are taken from URA, and basically what it says or what it shows are the things that was submitted to URA for approval. So maybe there's a developer or a contractor who intends to do something like a new erection of buildings, subdivision of land, A&A works. These are very common, and these contractors or developers would have to submit their plans or proposals to URA for approval. So over here, you'll be able to see the date as well as whether an approval was given or not. Okay, so in most cases, you will see written permission. However, do take note that there may be cases whereby URA disagrees, okay, and you will see something called notice of refusal, okay? So that means to say whatever was submitted was not approved, okay? So do take note for another one called notice of refusal. So we will show you the latest 10 decisions for a particular plot of land. So you can see over here. So there was some extension, amendment of new erection, and all that, all shown here. So in this case, you can see that the initial proposal was as early as 07, and then of course there were changes along the way. Okay, now next thing would be let me show you another property type, which is the HDB. Okay, so for HDB, what you need to do is to key in the block number, okay, with the street. So sometimes you will see that there is a name for it, okay, like a BTO HDB cluster name or the block. So whichever is fine. Alternatively, if let's say for the older projects, most of it would end up, or should I say all HDBs, you will either have the project name or the block with street name. So click on either, it is okay. Okay, so for this example, I'm just gonna use this one here at Hougang Street 61. Okay, And what you'll be able to see, so for HDB properties, you'll see something slightly different from landed. Over here, so you'll be able to see that, okay, this is part of Hougang Spring, okay, the zoning, the plot ratio, the tenure, land area. We also have research, but this time it is linked to HDB property, okay. We also have the HDB ethnic and SPR quota. Do take note, if you see a tick, very clear cut, that means that ethnic can buy, right? However, when you see a cross, it is not 100% that that ethnic cannot buy. Okay, why is that so? Now, if you see Chinese, Chinese can buy or cannot buy? The answer is maybe, maybe. Why is that so? Because when we key in the address, what I keyed in was 697 Hougang Street 61. Did I key in the ethnic of the buyer? No. Did I key in the ethnic of the seller? No. So in the case whereby buyer and seller are of the same ethnic, then this cross here for Chinese in this case, bopake already. Okay, so if buyer is Chinese, seller is Chinese, even though here says cannot buy, but because there's a 1-for-1 exchange, right? So it is still okay to proceed. So over here we have given you a little hint here, not applicable if buyer and seller are from the same ethnic. Okay, so do take note, because if you compare to finding this piece of information via HDB, okay, HDB you always have to go through the buyer is what ethnic, seller is what ethnic, and then put in all the info before you search. So this actually saves you a little bit of time, okay, when you actually do your searches, okay. Now below we also have the latest sales as well as the planning decisions. So something a bit more unique for the planning decisions for HDB property is that you may see things like home improvement program as well as lift upgrading program. Okay, of course, do take note, we will not know whether which owner or which seller have paid, whether the buyer is willing to pay or not. All these you will need to ask your buyer or seller. Okay, however, if you do see something like this, like there's a home improvement program in 2015, so we are already 5 years away, right? So chances are you don't have to ask anymore. But if you do see a date that is pretty recent, please double check with the seller or the buyer who is going to pay for this, or have anyone paid or is willing to pay for it. Okay? Now, something that is very useful when you are serving buyers for HDB, generally speaking, they would be searching for properties within a certain location, right? So what you can do, example, let's say this buyer would like to buy a unit in this area. Maybe his mom is staying in this block 697. Okay, so they want to buy a property nearby. So what you can do, instead of going to HDB website and keying in every single block one by one, you can actually make use of this map and just click on the blocks on the map itself. So let's say I want 693, I just click on 693. Okay, so immediately I know that, okay, ethnic, all can buy. Okay, and then I can also click on 695. Okay, same thing, all can buy. So it saves you a lot of time. All you need to do is to toggle and click on the different blocks within the map. Okay. Now another thing would be also okay, I'll touch on that a little bit later. Let's go on to another property type, which is the apartment condo. Okay, for those of you doing apartment condo, you have not been forgotten. So you just key in the project name that you're looking at. This I would say is more useful for new launches, okay, because what you want to see, okay, so for apartment condo, this is what you get. So you have the zoning, plot ratio, tenure, completion, land area. Research, same thing, links to the report. And we also have one more called tower view. Okay, so these are all shortcuts. Tower view is the diagrammatic chart, which is another tool that we have. Okay, we also have the latest sales, and what is a bit more interesting is the planning decision. Okay, because when a project is if let's say when a developer actually uh, bids for a piece of land and they finally win it, what they need to do is to submit to URA with their proposal on how many blocks they intend to build, how many units, what facilities, etc. So over here, if you look at the very initial submission by the developer to the URA, okay, you will be able to see, okay, new erection, proposed condominium housing development comprising 3 blocks, 22 stories, how many units, and then with whatever facilities. This information is very useful if you are trying to get leads for this new launch. Okay, so usually this piece of information, you might be able to get it before the developer or before your agency shares it with you. Okay, and with this information, you will be able to quickly get leads by maybe your Google ads, your website, your Facebook ads, and everything, or in your portal listings as well. Okay, so with this information, you can already start to start to get leads. Okay, and then we also have, so we covered landed, HDB, condo. You can also use it for commercial, industrial. Okay, let's see this one first. So this is commercial retail. Okay, Lucky Plaza. So same thing, a bit of different information here. So for Lucky Plaza, it seems that there are 2 types of property within the building, commercial and residential. So you'll be able to see that we have 2 separate reports for Lucky Plaza. We also have Tower View. Okay, for the latest sales, we will usually just show the apartment as a priority. Okay, now what is more useful for retail especially is the planning decision. So over here, you'll see a lot of change of use, and they also identify the unit number as well as the purpose for that particular store. So is it for karaoke, amusement center, shop, massage establishment? So over here, just to show you an example, sometimes you will see notice of refusal. So how is this useful? If, for instance, you have a client who wishes to rent a place or purchase a place in Lucky Plaza, and the intention is to do a to have a business for karaoke lounge, you can actually show them this to say that high chance URA is going to reject this proposal. Okay, so it saves you time, because when you apply for change of use, it takes time and a bit of money also. So usually if you see that it was once refused, please redirect your client elsewhere. Also, from here, you'll be able to see a quick insight on what kind of other tenants are in the area. So you can see here, office, sex shop, okay, amusement center, these were approved. So is this the kind of tenant mix that you want to be part of? Okay, is another thing that you can look at. Okay, now let's move on to shop houses, also a commercial kind of property. But shop houses, there will be a rather interesting uh, information that is different from the rest. Okay, we only have for private shop houses, do take note. HDB shop house, we will not have any information. Do take note, sometimes when you key in, so I have keyed in 51 Haji Lane, that means I am looking at a specific shop house. There will be cases where the drop down is something different. Doesn't matter, it just means that 51 Haji Lane is part of the Kampong Glam Conservation Area. Okay, for landed, sometimes maybe you key in 123 ABC Road, okay, and then it is part of Serangoon Garden Estate. The drop down may end up as Serangoon Garden Estate. Doesn't matter, just click on the drop down, it will still bring you to that particular plot of land. Okay, so I'm just going to click on the drop down here. So over here, you will be able to see that for 51 Haji Lane, which is in a conservation area, okay, shophouse conservation area, there are different property types within the conservation area. And then if you are just looking at the street itself, we have a research report only for this particular street. Okay, for later sales, it will cover the whole conservation area. And we have the approved and allowable use. So this is something that is unique or different only for private shop houses. Okay, so over here you'll be able to see what the different properties are used for. Okay, so now I know the first story is for what property, for what purpose, second story is for what purpose, and sometimes you will also see the expiry date. Okay, if there is no expiry date, that means it is a permanent change of use. However, if there is an expiry date, what it means is that this particular property, okay, so let's say the gym and fitness center, once the expiry date is met, they will have to reapply for this purpose again. Okay, and when they reapply, they also have to pay money lah. Okay, and also subject to approval again. It could be that they are approved one time and then maybe the second time it doesn't get approval anymore. Okay, we also have the allowable use. So you can see all the main usages here. And on the right hand side under the outcome, you'll be able to see three main colors: green, yellow, and red, which is pretty much like your traffic light. So if you have a client looking to rent or buy this place, you will know that in most cases you can use it for shops and restaurants. However, if you wish to use it for office, massage, motor vehicle, you would need to submit for approval. And of course, if they intend to use it for light industrial, that is a no-no. Don't even need to apply. Okay, so over here you can see some of the planning decisions as well. Okay, so from shop it became cafe, and then cafe became fitness center. All the records can be found under the planning decisions. Okay, now I think I have covered most of it. Okay, let's just look at one final one, which is for industrial. I would say for industrial, it is pretty much the same as the retail. So if you're looking at a B1 or a B2 factory with a lot of individual units, you will be able to see the planning decisions where the individual units, okay, and what they are intended, what they are used for. So you can see, okay, childcare center, data processing. So these are the businesses within this project here called Vertex. Okay, so you can see this unit here, retention of unit 011 for retail, it was given a notice of refusal, so they can't use it for retail. Okay. Now, what other features do we have on Inspector? One of it, on the bottom right, you see this little yellow man. Okay, this is basically a Google function called Google Street View. All you need to do is click on the yellow man, drag, and drop him along the street. So how do you know it is a street? You will see the blue color line. Okay, all these blue color lines are streets where you can drop the little yellow man. Okay, so over here I can see I can go one full round. I can walk along the street, so you can see the arrows front and back. Okay, and then so this is vertex, I think. Yeah, so you can walk along the street. So this is applicable for all property types, all areas. You will be able to drop the little yellow man along the street. Okay. Okay, and in some cases, you can even go into the building itself. Okay, so this is vertex, so you can see over here. And I should be able to click in some more. Okay, so I can still go in. Of course, do take note, this is not real time. This is not real time. There could be cases whereby maybe the building on block already, but it's still showing you the old one. Okay. So to go back to the map, just click on the arrow on the top right left hand to go back to the map. Okay. Now another function that is only applicable for commercial property, okay, commercial industrial property, is that you will also see all these circles. You see all these circles within the building itself. It will allow you to go into the building. Okay, so this belongs to Venture Car Private Limited, which is in Vertex itself. Okay, so of course this one you can't do it for residential property lah. Imagine you're bathing inside, then somebody dropped the little yellow man into the house. Scary, right? Okay, so only for commercial industrial, you will see all these blue color circles where you can drop them into the building. Okay. Okay, let me just get out of this. Now, is there any questions that you guys might have for me? Please put them in the live chat. I will try and answer them for you. Doreen, what does EVA stand for? Good question. I actually sent URA the exact same question to find out what it actually means. They didn't give me the full terminology, but I believe it's more something to do whereby there's no plot ratio for it. There's no change to it that can be done because it is a conservation area. So just to bring you guys back, so if will you see things like EVA? Okay, so this is a conservation area. So you will notice that for conservation area, because they are going to conserve this building, so there will be no changes that can be made to the plot ratio. The building is going to stay the way it is. Vacant government land. Priscilla, I don't think you can do that using inspector, but if you are looking at government land sales, you can refer to another tool that we have called GLS, called land sales. But if you just want to find out about something that is vacant, I'm not too sure. Unless you have an address that I can key in, we can try that out. Okay, so maybe let me just try. So there was a plot of land that was released for EC, right? So you see, if it is empty, it will show as now. So not much info lah. So this is a vacant government land that has just been released. So at least you can see, you can just get very minimal information for this. Okay. So if there's no, do continue to send in your questions if you have any. Meanwhile, we will move on to the quiz, okay? So for those of you who are still with us, do go to www.menti.com and key in the code 278491. Okay, so usually for our training, we'll have a quiz at the end of it just to make sure that you guys are all on the right track. Didn't forget any of the important information. And also, for the top 5 winners, you will walk away with a reusable cutlery set. We'll mail it to you. Okay, so what you need to do if you are the top 5 winners at the end of the session, right? Please take a screenshot of your icon, your nickname, as well as the number of points that you have gotten, and send it to us. So we will put in the live chat where to send it to, okay, and then we will arrange to mail you your prize for being the top 5 winners, okay? So there will be a total of 5 questions. If you are correct and you are the faster and you respond faster, you get more points as well. Okay. Is there any more questions that you guys might have for me for inspector? I think we covered most of it already for the different property types. Okay. Last call. When we first started this training in April, there were a lot more attendees, so it's harder to win. But now it's easier, okay, because less competition. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait for another minute and then we'll get started on the quiz itself. Okay, final call. If you are with us right now, please go to menti.com. So open a new window and go to menti.com and key in the code 278491. Okay, so that you can join us for the quiz. Another question, Doreen. For landed property, where can we get floor plans? Unfortunately, Doreen, you will not be able to get landed floor plans from us. I would say, unlike apartment condo where it's very easy to get hold of the floor plans, landed sometimes they build their own and then they don't even share their floor plans. So unlikely you can get it from any other portals either, unless they just happen to have that one. Yeah, but most of the time owners just keep their own floor plans lah. Okay, let's get started. Start quiz. Okay, 5 questions. Top 5 winners will walk away with the reusable cutlery set. Okay, so can you use inspector for these property? Can you use it for all or only for some? Quite giveaway, right? Unless you join me halfway only lah. Yeah. So you can use inspector for everything. So technically, those of you who selected the individual, you're not wrong, but you can use it for all. Okay, so for all property types, just that different property type, you get different kind of information. Okay, so right now, leading, we have Hula, which is the purple worm, Liu, and then mobile number, Joe and Kingsman. You guys are leading right now. Congratulations. Planning decisions taken from where? I think I keep repeating planning decisions, right? Probably one of the more important ones from URA. Oh, did I just tell you the answer? Oopsie. One of the more important information that you can get from inspector. I still got people give me wrong answer leh. Alamak sia. URA, okay? Planning decisions are from URA. Anything to do with planning lah, huh? So BCA is things like who's the contractor, what is the GFA, that one you can get from BCA. Okay, and then SLA is more of land dimension. Okay. So who is leading right now? Some changes, So we have Joe, I think. Who's on the top? Joe, Susan, Priscilla, Yo, and Laurie. What a nickname. Okay. So you can obtain approved and allowable use for which property type? Just now I keyed in one of the property type and you were able to get the approved and allowable use. Do you remember which one is it? Ding ding. The answer is private shophouses. For commercial and industrial, the only way to know whether something is approved or not is through the planning decision, right? They will tell you, okay, unit 0101, this person tried to apply to make this a karaoke, and then it was not approved. But for private shophouses, we will actually show you, first floor approved for what thing, and then second floor approved for what thing, and what are the different common businesses categories that will be approved or not approved. Okay, so this is only for private shop houses. So let's see who is leading now. Changes again. This time very interesting. Every question I have new people leading on the top. Now we have Lori, Yo, Joe, mobile number, and Susan. Okay, next question. HDB ethnic quota. If you see a cross, does it mean confirm cannot buy? Yes, no, or maybe? Cross, can buy or cannot buy? The answer is maybe. Yeah. Okay, I'm very happy when people get this correct. So make sure if you see a cross, don't be too excited to say cannot buy or can buy. Those who selected yes, really 打屁股, already cross out, already say cannot, you still say can buy. Yeah. So remember, the answer is maybe because there may be cases whereby buyer and seller are of the same ethnic. So the answer is maybe. Okay. So again, some changes to the leaderboard. Very interesting. We have mobile number on the top, Joe, Yo, Susan, SL. Okay. Like every time I announce, it's different people. Okay, little yellow man on the corner where you can drag and drop into a location. Is it real time or not? And the answer is false, not real time. So that means to say sometimes maybe a building already tear down, but we're still showing you the old block. Okay. I also came across. I tried with my own property. The HDB they repainted it, but I was still showing the old color. Okay. So as and when Google will update it, but it is not real time. Okay. So any more changes? We have mobile number one 94501307, followed by SL, Yo, Susan, and JL. Congratulations for winning the top 5 prizes today. Okay, so do send it to us. Okay, take a screenshot of your own screen with your own icon, nickname, and points. Okay, and send it to us. You can refer to the live chat. Okay, send it to 94579197. Sorry, 94529197. Okay, and we'll arrange to mail you your prize. Okay, now if there's any more questions, please leave them in the live chat now. Okay, if not, I will be ending today's session. Thank you everyone for joining us. Even as Mays do come in and most of you are out for work. Okay, thank you for joining us. I hope you pick something or learn something today. And remember to like, share, subscribe. Okay, Okay, remember to subscribe to our channel and like the video. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you, everyone.